Um, my name is Bennett Garvin. This is my self-reflection presentation. As far as experience with post-university while working on my master's, I have to admit I wasn't sure I'd get this far. I struggled with several classes along the way and considered giving up. I did terrible in other classes and ended up taking a short break from my education because I made the excuse that I had too much going on with work and the rest of my life, and I didn't feel like I could give the degree the attention that it needed. If I'm being honest with myself, I think I was just burnt out and I was ready to quit. Uh, for a while there, it took about 3 to 4 months, maybe half a year, um, that I was just pretty much done. I had no intentions of going back. And finally, one day I realized I was just out of excuses and I should just get it done. At this point, I'm talking about like having 2 classes left and then the capstone. So there's really no point. I'm happy I completed it or I've gotten this far. Don't feel any smarter, but at least I'll get my degree. Um, my concentration is leadership. Initially, I chose it because I assumed it would be easy for me to achieve. I did about 13 years in the Army. Over 11 of those were in a leadership position. So I figured the courses for the leadership concentration would be easier, considering I had the background. I was wrong. I ended up struggling with a good amount of the courses. The university courses covered a significantly larger amount of topics than what I was expecting. So it has been an uphill battle for most of this. While it was challenging, the courses have given me a better idea, though, of what it means to hold leadership position at an executive level, and I am grateful for that. As far as courses that I've enjoyed the most or that I've gotten most out of, I believe the courses that had the greatest impact on me were the Innovating Leadership and Management course and my Virtuous Leadership course. I enjoyed Innovating Leadership because it opened my eyes to the fact that there are so many more different leadership theories and styles. For me, it's always been, as far as my leadership style, I didn't know it but at the time, but it was more along the lines of servant leadership. Um, to me, it was just a matter of finding a way to gain loyalty between yourself as the leader and the person who reports to you, works for you, whatever. But there are so many other different ways, that people can lead as well. Innovating leadership also introduced me to the concept of disruptive innovation. If you're not familiar with it, I highly recommend you look it up. Um, I've also learned a concept that was new to me with permanent whitewater. Again, look it up. It's pretty much just a way for others to understand that things are constantly changing, and as a leader, any person in any type of organization, you have to remain fluid. As far as virtuous leadership goes, I've always felt that leaders, they have to lead with an unbreakable moral compass. Otherwise, they risk failing their organizations and their employees. 2 quotes that I've always tried to lead by. I always try to remember. The first one was from a senior leader at one of the leadership courses I took while serving, so I am paraphrasing, but it went something along the lines of a soldier should not be afraid of coming to you when they make a mistake because they are afraid of the punishment they'll receive. Instead, they should be afraid of coming to you because they're terrified of the idea of letting you down. The other quote is from Colin Powell, the previous Secretary of State. He said, "The day the soldier stops bringing you their problems is the day you stopped leading them. They have either lost confidence that you can help them or concluded that you don't care. Either case is a failure of leadership." Now, I understand that both of those are primarily, that they pertain to military personnel, but I mean, that can be transferred to the, civilian sector pretty easily. I mean, again, it all goes back to loyalty. Um, an employee comes to me with a problem, as a leader, I'm going to want to be able to help fix that problem. If they don't, it's because I'm not a very good leader. And that's my opinion. Again, my leadership theory or leadership concept. As far as recommendations go, when you start this program, when I started the program, and by program I mean the entire master's degree, there's a lot of fear and the threat that you might get overwhelmed by the whole process. Don't get me wrong. There is a significant amount of things, projects and assignments that new students will have to get accomplished. But in hindsight, the stress that I personally put on myself and that fear of, whether or not I was going to get overwhelmed, were they weren't as significant as I was afraid of. It wasn't overwhelming. I never got to a point where I felt it was too much. Before each course, I'd be concerned there's too much material or I wouldn't understand the course material. And like I said, it never got to that point for me. And I think the university, the program, whoever, the student advisors, they need to really reiterate to the newer students. I think they should reiterate to the newer students that they're not really going through this degree course alone. Yes, you're earning your degree, but there are places you can go. They need to be told when let me take a step back. They need to be told that there's a big chance that they won't get overwhelmed. And they also need to be told that if they do get to that point, there are, options. There are places to go. There are resources to help them. Again, this wasn't something that I ended up personally dealing with, but it is something that the students, new students might benefit from knowing. And I believe, knowing that they have that support will put the newer students going into the master's degree program at ease. I don't know how long that was. Hopefully it was 5 minutes. If not, 7. So that works. But thanks for coming to my TED Talk.